Jayshree. Welcome to my show.
Hi, Manbir. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much, Jayshree.
Thank you for inviting me. Hmm.
Okay, so welcome formally. Let me formally welcome you to my show, Growth Mindset Conversations. And for all my viewers and listeners, introducing Jayshree. Jayshree Kirtane is trained in mathematical economics at University of Mumbai, and she decided to shift to applied psychology in the year of 2003. Now she leads Alchemy, a boutique consulting and coaching firm. She has over 3,500 hours of coaching experience, and she coaches senior executives from various industries. And she's the president of ICF Pune Chapter right now. Her belief as a coach is that the client first changes as a person at a belief level, becomes a better human being, and in the process is experienced as a human leader. She was also recognized among 100 most fabulous coaching leaders in 2019. Fantastic, Jayshree. Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And here in Gurgaon, it's really chilly winter morning. How is Pune? Okay, Jayshree is joining us from Pune, by the way. So, how is Pune
Yes.
doing?
Oh, Pune is pleasant. Pune is
Okay, very nice. And
not too cold, not too cold, not too warm.
good. And when you say it's pleasant, I'm little envy of you and Puneites. Okay, to start the conversation, Jayshree, this is the trend or the tradition of growth mindset conversations show that the first question is, what is growth mindset for the guests? So I'm asking you, what is growth mindset for Coach Jayshree?
Ooh, thank you. Thanks for asking me that question, Manbir. And first up, of course, congratulations on the good work that you are doing and contribute
Thank you.
people's lives.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
growth mindset, of course, as we are, hearing, it has become quite a, I would say, a common concept
Yeah.
nowadays, and it pops up in various conversations. So, therefore, when you ask me what is a growth mindset, actually, to me, that is the most natural state of mind. I
Mm-hmm.
suppose that's the state in which nature is, and that's the state in which a human being actually is. And it is about believing that, yeah, I mean, something can change for
Mm-hmm.
me, and I can make that change. So,
Mm-hmm.
for me, believing in growth mindset is about hope. It is about
Mm-hmm.
optimism. It's about the hope that tiny little sapling has and holds in its heart to become that big mango tree. It's about that hope
Wow.
for me.
Wow.
So
And I
it's,
love the metaphor.
yeah, I live in the world of metaphors, as you know. So yeah,
Yes.
it is hope, it is optimism, and also, what? It makes me feel in charge, and it makes me feel
Wow.
because when I mean, contrary to growth, I guess
Yeah.
when I think about fixed mindset, it almost appears to me that I'm a prisoner of a frame, and that frame is so constant, so rigid, and so unbreakable, and that makes me suffocating. Whereas
Yeah.
the moment I think with growth mindset, I feel in charge, I feel powerful, and I feel hopeful. So that's growth mindset.
Absolutely. And you said it all, Jayshri. Powerful, hopeful. It's a little sapling which is going to grow into a huge mango tree, and it'll bear fruits. Wow. Very powerful. And how does this definition or this, feeling of going beyond that cage or shackles, all this relate to, what we are going to discuss today, investing in your own self now more
Hmm.
than ever. So how does that all relate to that particular so-called topic of investing in your own self? What's your view on that?
Right. Thanks. And I love the word investing
Yeah,
because the word investment itself has a promise of some returns,
absolutely.
whether it
Yeah,
is today or tomorrow or some years down the line. But
yeah.
some is what the promise that word holds. So, in my mind, when a person decides to invest in or does not decide to invest in self, I think it speaks a lot about how worthy does this person find himself or herself of investing? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
about it. If you go to the stock market and you are going to buy, make that decision about buying some scripts or the other, what are you doing? Actually, you're thinking, when I spend so much, in that case, money, when I spend so much on this script, what is the return am I going to get? And you
Mm-hmm.
invest on something which holds the promise of growing,
Mm-hmm.
holds
Yeah.
the promise of growth and therefore some return in future. So in my mind, one would invest on himself or herself only when one feels that, okay, I am this person who holds this promise of
Mm-hmm.
better, of bearing sweeter fruits, of growing, and of maybe growing to some stage, some phase. So I think it's very directly related. So if somebody has growth mindset, that means that he finds self and others, of course, worth investing in. I guess
Yeah.
that's how they're related.
Yeah. Yeah. That brings a very beautiful point, and I see that mathematical side of you, promising note, and and how I see it as an equation is x plus y plus z, the things which you are
Mhm.
investing is equal to something which you are expecting, right?
Right,
So that's the return you are expecting, and
correct.
you bring in very important point that people invest in themselves when they feel worthy of it.
Mhm.
So there are two things which I see. When they feel that investment is worthy, or when they
Ah,
feel themselves as worthy,
absolutely. Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah. And I think all of us evaluate
Hmm.
our investments worthiness or return on investment in a very tangible way, Jayshri.
Mhm.
If, as you said, if we are going to buy some stock or scripts, so it's a very tangible way of evaluating.
Sure.
And when we invest in ourselves, we try to do the same thing. But
Mhm.
I feel that, sometimes the returns on yourself may not be that tangible.
Mhm.
What's your point of view on this?
Um, yeah, well, I mean, sometimes the returns may not be quick.
Yeah, yeah,
So there may not be and so it may come many years down the line.
yeah,
Sometimes you may not be able to see the direct connection between the investment and the return. So there is
absolutely.
mind
Yeah,
direct quid pro quo when it comes to investing in self.
yeah,
So the timeline is a bit hazy,
yeah.
and direct relationship between the two is sometimes not visible immediately to the eye.
Yes, yes, that's
But
right.
I do believe that it's quite underrated. Actually, investment in self in people's mind is underrated because people often take a very myopic view. So
Absolutely.
right, so if
Yeah.
I do this, yeah, so if I if I learn this new language, what is
Hmm.
it going to give me? If I learn
Hmm.
new language and if I'm not planning to visit that country anytime soon, how is it going to benefit me? So
Yeah.
that's a very direct relationship that people try to establish between the investment that they're making and the return that they're expecting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my in my mind, the view cannot be and did not be limited to such myopic understanding of investment
Right. Right.
because and I'm just giving you some examples. So for example, um, when you learn a new language, you're not just learning a new language, you are actually developing newer perspectives about a different culture,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably just expanding your world.
Yeah.
When you are training to become a marathoner, it's not just that you are training to run, you are actually developing endurance, resilience.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you are building up that stamina not just for running but for any other adversity in life. So I
Absolutely.
yeah, so I guess investment in self, whichever way you do it, it's not limited to just the title of
Yes.
that course or that
Yeah.
activity that you are taking up. I think it has much wider impact in life, and often, unless in in such conversations, people often don't even give enough time to think about the wider
Yes.
impact.
Yes. Yeah. And again, fantastic point that, people take myopic view. And I love the metaphor and example of marathon. So it's
Hmm.
not only the destination which matters, right? It's not only,
Yeah.
if you're running half marathon or full marathon, and that's the, but if you're not able to even run that half marathon
Mhm.
which you were preparing for, the training you undergo is a journey.
Yes.
And some things which you might have experienced at that point of time, maybe, I'm just taking an example, maybe the support you got from your family,
Yes.
that might have an impact on your growth, on yourself. Your relationships could be different now because you feel, yes, my family supported me. There are different variables on that particular journey, so called
Yes.
negative, positive, whichever way.
Hmm.
Everything will be an experience and will add on to your personality, to your growth ultimately, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Wonderful.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Right.
So as we are talking about this, and the point now where we are is, this is not about destination only, it's the
Mm-hmm.
journey also.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one fear I see people have when investing,
Mm.
because investing in themselves, I mean.
Yes.
So what if, there are different
Mm-hmm.
fears, one, I said, as I said, it's about, not being clear on what could be the ROI. And
Mm-hmm.
there are other fears also. What if I'm not being successful? What if it doesn't give me that kind of result? What if, I mean, what if there are various
Mm-hmm.
what ifs, right? So what do you think about, what are the other fears, or what about these fears? What's your view on
Mm-hmm.
having fears on investing in my own self?
Yeah. So, Manbir, I think some of the, and I won't even call them fears, but
Mm-hmm.
some of the considerations for people are
Yeah,
very right. And again, I'm just bringing a concept from economics, which is called the opportunity cost, right? So when
yeah.
I'm investing my time, money, of course, but my time, my energy also, even if somebody
Mm-hmm.
offers a course free to me, I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah,
investing my time and energy
yeah.
on that. It just means that in those many hours or in that time, I'm not doing something else which I could have done, right? So that's
Absolutely.
the cost of my
Yeah,
time, energy, and money. I
yeah.
guess that's a consideration sometimes people have. And
Mm-hmm.
that consideration is something that everybody, I mean, it's real for people. And they need to, of course, sort it out for themselves by weighing the long term and indirect advantages of investing in self. So that's
Yeah.
one. The other, Manbir, I think the fear that I see, which is maybe uh, not very readily accepted by people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes not even recognized, is I think the fear of breaking out of the comfort zone. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
when I have a fixed, idea or a mindset that nothing can be done about this, then I'm
Exactly.
yes, then I'm actually closing on all the possible options,
Yeah.
and um, I'm actually making a choice to stay with as is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just going back to a metaphor from the nature, so it is as much about that sapling. It is also about that caterpillar that's inside that cocoon. Now, that caterpillar, if you have ever seen it, that caterpillar has to make efforts, right, to
Hmm.
away, break out of that cocoon, and only then can it become a butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. So, while in nature it's a very natural process, and a caterpillar is not as intelligent as human beings to think whether should I become a butterfly, but because
Yeah.
we with a lot of intelligence, right, and a
Yeah.
lot of justifications, rationalizations pop up in this space between our two ears, we kind of choose not to break out of our comfort zone.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the biggest fear that I see.
Absolutely. And I have seen, Jayshri, I mean, I'm sure you will agree with me, and you also would have seen this. In
Mm-hmm.
corporates, I see people not investing in themselves or not even trying. They say that they are trying, but actually
Mm-hmm.
they are not going beyond that comfort zone. They want that next promotion, they want that the growth, but they're saying things happen in this particular office like this only.
Yes.
That's the way it happens. Accepting that status quo, and maybe even putting that weight on other things in life, either the situation or other people. My boss
Hmm.
is like that, this organization work like that, this work culture is like that. I'm not denying that doesn't have an impact on your growth. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
all these dimensions have an impact on your growth. But at the same time, I always believe, as you said, accountability. So
Ah,
in any situation, I'm sure you can do something about that.
right.
Something about that. As you said, caterpillar example. So you have to break that shell to
Mm-hmm.
grow out of, and that will have some kind of repercussions, some kind of positive effects, that will be there. But at the same time, something you can do. So this is the way, I think, I'm
Yes.
re-articulating it, to all my viewers and listeners, that's in any situation you are in, you can definitely do something about that. You can
Right.
definitely do that. So that's
Absolutely.
yeah. So it's very important to take ownership. So we talked about
Absolutely.
fears, we talked about people not accepting some kind of fear and mentality and actually having that. So
Mm-hmm.
what are the other things which can stop people from investing in themselves? Anything else you think we have not spoken about?
Mm, let me just think. I think we've covered
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
spectrum.
Yeah, and maybe when I'm asking this question, Jayshri, something which comes to my mind is role modeling. Sometimes we look for that I have not seen people spending that kind of money and time in investing themselves, and they had good careers, they had good career growth, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes role modeling is might be something which is missing out. What do you think?
That's a possibility. That's a possibility. And yeah, but I think I would still, if somebody says this, that, I've seen people who have not invested in themselves and yet see where they are. And,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would still encourage such people to, really dig deeper and see what is there in that story. Perhaps
Absolutely
there are parts to that story that we don't know. We just
beautiful.
feel that the rags to riches happens just like that, or
Yeah,
as a coincidence, or as a stroke of luck. But I guess
yeah.
the stroke of luck happens to only people who put in that hard work. So yeah, I guess we just choose not to look into the other parts of the story.
Yeah, not to see beyond what is obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Look deeper. Okay. So, we have spoken about people not investing in themselves and, what are the fears, what stops people. So, although, some of it is very obvious, but,
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of still bringing these topics to the surface, that what is the cost of not investing in your own self, especially
Mm-hmm.
in this era, in this volatile world and post COVID world where things are changing more dynamically than ever.
Yeah. I guess the costs are more dire than ever before in the times
Yeah,
we are living in. Because of course the pace of change has, I don't know, has increased manifold any which way in last decade or so. But now in last 1 year, the pace at which things are changing, the way life is transforming, work life as well as personal life is transforming around us. If we choose not to invest in ourselves, then we are going to be stuck forever. And that's, being stuck forever is not a nice thing at all in any way.
yeah,
I will go a little step further that, in today's times when the, organizations also have, tight budgets and more, I would say, more accountability from people in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, etc. People who are stuck and people who are not able to move on, I guess they will be redundant much earlier than before. So that's a
yeah.
very dire consequence. So I think,
Hmm.
till maybe last year, people could think, oh, if I invest in myself, what will I get? I think it is
Yes,
also now time to think, if I don't invest, what will
yeah,
happen?
yeah, yeah. It's not kind of a nice to have thing now. It's need to have.
Yeah,
So you
it's
should be
need to
investing in
have.
your own self, own growth. And
Right.
we really had some wonderful pointers here, and to kind of going towards the end of discussion, I would
Mhm.
like to reiterate or ask another question on the point you made on tight budget.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to investing in our own self, especially for the corporate individuals,
Yes.
we always look for, why should I invest my own money at least?
Mm.
Organizations should be investing that money. But now here is the era when we have tight budgets, more accountability, and for organizations, they have a different mathematics to prioritize who is going for that particular
Yes.
training or a course or a coaching conversation. So how do people actually decide? I'm talking about people who are now ready to invest in themselves by listening to you, Jayshri. And now, now they are like, okay, should I ask my organization about it? Should I wait for my turn for that particular learning thing? Or should I invest in my own self? How should they
Mm-hmm.
decide? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for asking that question actually. So you're right. I mean, this is what at least as a consultant and coach, I'm also seeing that
Yeah.
organizations are, I mean, budgets are tight and therefore they're cautious. I
Yes.
wouldn't say that they're not willing to invest, but they're cautious in deciding what to spend when and on whom, right?
Yeah.
At the time, so therefore, if I am an individual working in an organization, uh, do I really want to wait until my turn comes when the
Yes.
organization decides to invest on something that I want to learn, I want to
Right.
know about myself, or I go ahead, I take charge and invest in myself? I think
Yeah.
that's the decision people have to make. And shall I tell you something? I mean, first of all, I think all of us who have some at least some resources to invest in ourselves. First of all, I think we all are grateful for that. And now, when I'm looking at those resources, actually, if you see, no, and I'm coming to very brass tacks, actually, if you see, no, Manbir, the investment amount in a self development initiative, whichever way people want to invest, is actually not really more than 1 or 2 holidays in a year that a family would spend.
Absolutely.
But people don't
Absolutely.
look at it like that. People don't
Yes.
have these boxes
Yes.
that, oh, if
Yeah.
it is a holiday, then I will spend. If it is an investment on myself, that
Yeah.
organization will do. But
Yeah.
it's time to now, just sit back, take another look, and say, okay, I mean, it's not just this. This is
Hmm.
a part of a very important part of my life.
Yeah. 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 And that's a very important point. I think, why people invest on holidays, more than investing in themselves sometimes is
Hmm.
again because of return, because they see
Hmm.
immediate return on holidays. They are going to
Hmm.
relax, they're going to have some fun. And on self, I think we become critical that what
Hmm.
is the immediate return on investment? And we have
Hmm.
spoken about it. So, people, if you're not planning to invest in your own self in 2021, so it's not a good thing. It's not a nice to have thing. It's must have. So, I would encourage all of you who are listening to this show that invest in yourself, set your own goals, and align your investment of time, of money, of anything. And listen to this conversation and see how this investment can take you to the next level of your growth, of other opportunities in your own life, in your life experiences. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Anything, Jayshri, before we wrap up today's session, anything you want to share with the listeners of this show?
No, actually, I just want to thank you and, of course, the listeners for listening into this. And yeah, just go be that butterfly.
Yay! Thank you so much, Jayashri. I love this candid conversation, and I'm sure it was a great experience for listeners and viewers of this show to listen to these knowledge gems from yourself. Thank you so much. I loved having you on my show.
Thank you. Love being here.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this video, and see you all again in the next video in this series of growth mindset conversations. And do subscribe to this channel to watch more videos here to help you succeed in your own journey. Thank you, and all the very best.